President Trump is a man of action, not endless talk like we see at the United Nations. He has made it clear all options are on the table to stop the slaughter. And no one should know that better than the leadership of the Iranian regime.
There's not always a strict correlation between what President Trump says and subsequent action. So I don't know if that's an honest reflection of his thinking and the information he's getting. Maybe he's putting out disinformation in advance of a strike. There really is no way of knowing. What he has said in numerous occasions in the last week or so is that if Iran continues to do such and such, kill protesters, then he's gotten ambiguous and said there will be a response of the United States. He said that when estimates of casualties in Iran were pretty low. We now know they're much higher. So we have no way of knowing. It is still, I think, quite possible that the United States would launch military action against Iran. He not only said that, but as one of my former colleagues, Brett McGurk, pointed out, he said, take over the institutions, help is on the way. So as Brett said, and as others have said, that seems to be at least implying regime change. However, we know from many other statements of President Trump, he's not in the business of regime change, especially outside of the Western Hemisphere and the Monroe Doctrine with the Trump corollary. So we don't know. I think he realizes that regime change in Iran is a very uncertain, long, hard slog. He remembers what happened to the U.S. in Iraq, and I don't think he necessarily wants to go down that street again. I think what he's looking for is some type of quick win. I think Iran would very much like to resume negotiations, just because it might help give protesters the sense that the economic situation has an increased chance of improving. But as one of President Trump's recent statements was, we're not going to meet with Iranian government officials until they stop killing protesters. Now, maybe this most recent statement today lines up a near future meeting with Iranian government officials, but many would see that as a slap in the face of Iranian protesters from the U.S. government, especially after he's told them, to hang in there, help is on the way. Oh, I'm sure that's happening. I never would say that there's been a break of communications between Iran and the U.S., or even that there's been a break of direct communications. In situations like these, countries always pop up and offer to mediate, but we know that the Iranian government has been in direct contact with the U.S. government. President Trump's negotiator, Steve Witkoff, has talked directly with Iran many times in the past, even after the 12-day war. So I have no doubt that there's some back and forth of communication between the Iranian government and the U.S. government.